Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Blades with Bill. Today we're going to be doing a full review of the Kubey Royal. But first, I want to thank all my new subscribers. The last couple weeks, my channel has gotten several new subscribers, so thank you to all the new subscribers. But let's get into talking about the knife. We have natural G10 handle scales, and if you can, I don't know if you can see that right there, how it's lighter. It's because the liners are skeletonized to help with weight. They are also inset into the G10 to help keep it a little bit thinner. We have a lanyard hole. This came with a deep carry pocket clip. We'll get into why this is not the one that came on here. But I did switch it out. This is again another Civivi titanium clip that I got off of Amazon. You have the KB for Kubey. It is a front flipper. And you do have a cutout, so you can reverse flick it. You can do the thumb flick for the top flipper or front flipper. You can do the index finger. Now, I personally can't really get my thumb in there to do a thumb flick, but the reverse flick, like I said, does work very well. We do have a 2.99 inch D2 blade. They do make another version of this that is S35 VN. We have very minimal hardware. There's literally the pivot screw, and then the screw here, and then the screw on the back of the pocket clip. Hold the spacer in, or the standoff in. Literally, you take out the pivot screw and this screw, and you can take the handle off. So very minimal hardware. It is a liner lock. You do have good access to the lock bar. You can see there, it's no problem being able to get to the lock bar. We have an overall length of just over 7¼ inches, 7.28 to be exact. We have a weight of 3.21 ounces. The thickest part of the handles is just barely over 1/2 inch. Thickest part of the blade, looking at 102 thousandths. The thickness behind the edge, you're looking at about 15 thousandths. Let's do a little size comparison real quick. First, one that I know is popular, and I'm trying to go with some things that are close in price that I also know are popular, so there's a good chance people have them. The Rat 2, and as you can see, the Petrified Fish Beluga is, you get a little more, you have way more belly, so you might have a little more cutting edge on both the Rat and the Beluga than you do the Kubey, but all three knives are fairly close, and all three knives are fairly close in actual blade length. So, Civivi Elementum. And one that's quite popular right now, the CJRB Pyrite. which again, the pyrite, you're getting a little bit more blade. Not really getting that much more handle though. And as far as the elementum, you might get a little more cutting edge out of the elementum, and it is definitely a slice of your blade with the hollow grind. But again, they're all fairly close. The Boker Kalashnikov, and the QSP Penguin. The Kalashnikov is definitely longer. The handle's not really any longer. The blade is definitely a little longer. And the QSP Penguin, blade is might just barely be a hair longer. And then the Kaiser Begleiter and the Spyderco Tenacious, both of which are longer knives, blade handle, both. However, the Begleiter and the Kubey Royal are fairly close in thickness this way, and in thickness this way, again, they're actually fairly close in length. But let's go up top and I'll give you my thoughts on it. Alright, so give you all my thoughts on the Kubey Royal. Again, this is not the pocket clip that came with it. This one wasn't bent like the last Kubey that I had, but the gap on it just wasn't enough for jeans. So I threw this Civivi one on here. As far as anything else, there were no major issues with this knife. When I got it, the pivot was a bit dirty feeling. So I went ahead and took it apart, cleaned the bearings off, and went ahead and re-lubed it with some KPL, and it's a whole lot better now. You actually can get it to drop on its own. But the way they have the plunge grind and choil, when I got this knife, about this much of it wouldn't really catch when it came to cutting anything. It just didn't want to do it. So I'd get past here and it was fine. So I did end up sharpening it and reprofiling it. And when I did, I ended up spending a bunch of time trying to get this area thinner, because you could kind of tell as I started doing it that this up here was definitely thinner, which is why it sliced easier, and back here was definitely thicker still. So no major issues with this knife, nothing that I couldn't fix easy. But for what this knife does cost, really don't want to have to go out and buy a new clip for it. So Kubey, if all of your budget knives come with the same kind of clip, you might want to give it a little bit more gap to make it easier to fit men's jeans. But otherwise, ergos, it actually feels really good in hand. I had no problem. I can choke up to here and not have to worry about, for the most part, not really have to worry about hitting my finger on the blade at all. Back here, nice and comfortable. Again, when I got it, the action was a little bad. But now it was one of those that just needed to be cleaned up. Cleaned it, re-lubed it, good to go. And as far as sharpening goes, most of us that carry a knife can sharpen, just a matter of how good or bad. Like, Lord knows I can't hand sharpen for crap. So that's why I know what angle I get when I sharpen. I use the Work Sharp Precision Adjust. It's just easier for me. It works fine. I have no problems. So, would I recommend this knife? I might recommend the more premium version that you can get. Usually it's right around 80-90 bucks. Sometimes it seems like it kind of jumps up for no reason to a little over 100. But if you kind of keep an eye on Amazon, you can kind of catch it down around 80. And you get S35 instead of D2. So you get a nice bump in your steel over D2, but otherwise, didn't really have any other issues with this knife. It worked great as a small second knife, not a fifth pocket knife, but it was easy to carry in my back pocket. So again, would I recommend this one exactly? Like I said, you might want to go get the S35 and see if it's any better. And I might have just got one that they just didn't quite get the grind good down here at this end. But again, not stuff that's a huge deal. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you get notified whenever I release a new video here on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram at Blades with Bill. I am on Facebook as Blades with Bill. I also have my own Facebook page, which is Blades with Bill. And I have just started trying to do Reddit, which I'm on there as Blades with Bill. So, everyone have a great day. Stay safe. Peace.